E-Biology class, Fatima Convent High School, myself, Dipali. Chapter 6, Tissues. In this third session of this chapter, let us talk about the complex permanent tissues. In the previous section, we understood that the meristematic tissues, when they lose their ability to divide, get converted into permanent tissues. And these permanent tissues are of two types according to their structure and function: the simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. The simple permanent tissues are parenchymas of various types. They are the epidermis, collenchyma, parenchyma, etc. But let us see what a complex permanent tissue. As you can see in the figure here, and you must have come across the name xylem and phloem. Collectively, these two together are called as vascular bundles. These vascular bundles have specific functions of transporting water and food throughout the plant, and they work in a system of conducting these important constituent materials in the plant. Let us study them in detail. The complex permanent tissues. The different types of tissues we have discussed until now are all made up of one type of cells which looks like each other. Such tissues are simple permanent tissues. Yet another type of permanent tissue is complex permanent tissue, and they are made up of more than one type of cells. Now you understand why they are called as complex permanent tissues? Because they have more than one type of cells. All these cells coordinate to perform a common function, and the two examples are xylem and phloem. They are both conducting tissues, as I told before, and constitute the vascular bundle. So, xylem and phloem, they together are called as vascular bundles. And their main function is conduction, or they are conducting tissues. And what do they conduct? Water and food. So, this is what we understand by complex permanent tissue. Now let us study each one of them in detail. It is a distinctive feature of complex plants one that has made possible their survival in terrestrial environment. Shown in figure, a section of stem, can you see the different types of cells in the vascular tissues? Xylem consists of tracheids, vessels, and xylem parenchyma and xylem fiber. So these are the constituent parts of the xylem that you can observe here. You can see the structure, shape of these cells are different, and they combine and form the xylem tissues, and so they are called as complex tissues. Then tracheids and vessels have thick walls, and many are dead cells when mature. Tracheids and vessels are tubular structures. They allow them to transport water and mineral vertically. That is why you can call them even as pipelines of the plant. The parenchyma stores food. Xylem fibers are mainly supportive in function. So, you can say that the tissues which we are observing here the tracheids, the vessel, and xylem parenchymas and xylem fibers. These are the four parts of which the xylem tissue is made up of. And their function is to conduct water throughout the plant, and their wall is thick and most of the cells are dead. And they even store food in the xylem parenchyma. And xylem fibers, they are supportive in function. So you can say that if you classify it, you can say the complex permanent tissues they are of two types, xylem and phloem, collectively known as vascular bundle. And this xylem is divided into four types of cells. Tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fibers. The function of these two is to conduct water and minerals, and this stores food and also helps here. And fiber, they are supportive tissues. This is what we understood in this section. Now phloem again is made up of five types of cells. They are the sieve cells, sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem fibers and phloem parenchymas. The sieve tubes are tubular cells which perforated walls, and phloem transports food from the leaves to the other parts of the plant. Except phloem fibers, other phloem cells are living cells. You can observe this in the figure here. The sieve plate, the sieve tube, phloem parenchyma and companion cells. So, this is the classification further for the phloem tissue. That is, it is made up of five types of cells: sieve cells, sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem fibers, and phloem parenchymas. This is what we understand by the phloem tissues. So, just recalling the tissue system into the classification, we say tissues are of two main types: plant tissues and animal tissues. Plant tissue are of two types: meristematic and permanent. These are of three types: apical, intercellary and lateral. Now you know the function of each of them. Permanent are of two types: simple and complex. Simple are further classified into parenchyma, chlorenchyma, collenchyma, arenchyma and sclerenchyma. And the complex permanent tissues are of two types: xylem and phloem. Xylem is made up of tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fibers. And phloem is made up of sieve cells, sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fibers. Is this very much clear to you? Just recall the function of each one of them, and it's very simple to remember the tissues. The structure and function are according to their place where they are positioned and where they are useful in the plants. In the next session, we are going to study about animal tissue. Thank you.